Hey, what's up, guys? This is Oakley, and we'll be covering the latest faction reveal from CA, and this is going to be the Sassanid Empire. So this is going to be the last of a series of great Persian civilizations before the eventual conquest of the Muslims led by the Arabs. So the Sassanid Empire was founded in 224 AD by Ardashir I. But as I said, it did come at the end of a line of successive empires who rose and fell in the Middle East. So let's go ahead and rewind and put this all in context. So the first Persian Empire was founded by Cyrus the Great in the 6th century BC. He founded the Achaemenid Empire, which was one of the largest the world had seen so far, and it encompassed about 45% of the population at the time, so it was huge. It stretched all the way from Turkey and Egypt and went to the extent of India, so a massive empire, which is best known to the West as a result of the famed Greco-Persian Wars, Battle of Marathon, Salamis 300, Plataea, all those things that have been in the movies recently, and that obviously, we just get a small glimpse of that empire, but it was a huge empire with a lot else going on to it. So it's a little bit restrictive when we look at it from the Western point of view. We only get the tip of the iceberg in terms of looking at that empire. But anyways, the Achaemenid Empire lasted until it was finally conquered by Alexander the Great in 330 BC. However, as you all know, Alexander went on to push his conquest, but he also pushed his luck, and he ended up dying. After that, his empire was split up between his generals, who fought a series of conflicts known as the Wars of Diadochi for control of the territory. In the end, the major kingdoms to the east were the Seleucid kingdoms and the Ptolemaic kingdoms. Obviously, the rulers of the kingdoms are named after the general Seleucus and Ptolemy. But then around 247 BC, however, a chieftain of Iranian tribes conquered the region of Parthia. That region itself had rebelled against the Seleucids. It was a previous satrap of the Seleucid Empire. It had rebelled, and now you have this Iranian tribesman, the chieftain and his tribes. They come in and they take over the region. And this chieftain is going to be crowned Arsaces I. And he's going to found what's known as the Parthian Empire under the Arsacid dynasty. So at the time, the Seleucids are not quite able to quell it immediately. They're pushed and they have pressure from the Romans in the west. They're going to lose the Battle of Magnesia, and so they're not quite able to suppress this emerging Parthian Empire, which is actually going to, because of sort of inevitably the Roman pressure to the west, it's going to be able to grow and grow from a little ember into a great empire. So this empire in time is going to grow and, as I said, come elbow to elbow with Rome, who ironically helped it rise in the first place. But they're going to have a series of prolonged conflicts, and both sides are going to get bloodied, but there aren't going to be too many huge collapses on either side. They're just too large to destroy each other, but they're going to be pretty bloodied in the process. So notably the massacre of the Romans led by Crassus at the Battle of Carrhae, and then later when you have, the retribution of Mark Antony, who leads troops down into Mesopotamia. He fights in there and he's rather successful at first, but then he has to pull back and retreat, and so you have a lot of these bloody border conflicts. And it was a lot of raiding and Cold War type tactics with, vying for buffer kingdoms in the region, particularly Armenia. And then the Parthian Empire, however, is going to be susceptible to bitter internal divisions. That's one of the main things that kept it from mounting, enough pressure on Rome. Is anytime they would be able to strike at Rome, there would always be a saving moment for the Romans where internal strife would force the Parthians to retreat back and deal with internal conflict. But what that's going to do is it's going to open up an opportunity for a ruler of a province of Fars. So Fars is going to be located in modern-day Iran, and this ruler is going to be known as Ardashir. And he's going to be able to exploit the internal unrest, and he's finally going to be able to rise to power, and he's going to bring an end to almost 400 years of Parthian rule. So in 224 AD, he's going to be crowned as Shahan Shah, which is King of Kings, and he's going to found the Sassanid Empire with its capital at Ctesiphon in modern Iraq. This Sassanian dynasty is going to last until 621 AD, so a long time, and is going to prove to be a huge economic and military power in the region. And of course, anytime Rome is going to be facing another big power, you can expect to see a mighty boxing match take place. And that's exactly what happens when you have repeated conflict between Rome and the Sassanid Empire. And the battles between these two are going to prove to be pretty bloody. You have the Emperor Valerian, who's going to be captured and later executed. by the Sassanids, and you even have the Emperor Julian the Apostate, who's going to be killed at the Battle of Samara. So you have really these brutal exchanges between the two emperors being killed and captured, and the Sassanid capital is going to be sacked repeatedly, and the wars are just going to have a ton of these major reversals, but neither empire is really going to collapse as a result. But it's going to be a pretty exciting show to watch, to say nonetheless. But you can see the evolution of this empire in this Middle Eastern area, and all the while it's going to have some familiarities to it. So the main one is going to be, when we look at the military, it's going to be the heavy cavalry. Obviously, this is going to be evolving over time, but you always have the mainstay of the heavy cav, which are going to be developing at this point into really armored cataphracts who are armed with swords, bows, clubs. And then also you have, obviously, the reliance on the horse archers. That's a tried and true tactic found in this region, and something that was a thorn in Rome's side. And they're going to draw a lot on Parthian troops and Sarmatian troops to really fill up the bulk of their horse archer contingents. They're also going to continue to rely on elephant troops recruited from India, and these are often going to be armored and equipped with a howdah, which is the tower on top where troops can launch arrows or javelins from, and they're going to field those pretty effectively. As long as they're on flat terrain, they're going to lead the Sassanid Empire to a lot of victories. And then you have, of course, the infantry, so they're going to have lots of the typical light infantry and skirmishers, particularly the Medes, who are going to be very effective with the javelins and sling, and so they have a lot of these light troops, but now they can also actually field pretty reliable heavy infantry, which are mostly going to be drawn for the Iranians. So they have a pretty heavy roster, a lot of solid troops to draw on, and that's why they were such a pain in Rome's side, and that's why they were able to last until really long in history, and were only conquered in the 600s AD. So I hope that is enough of a recap for you guys. Pretty extensive, and of course the empire is known for a whole list of other things. They're an economic power as well. They had a lot of trade, control of the Silk Road, trade with China, all sorts of stuff going on. They are well known for city planning and having a lot of urban development in terms of sanitation and stuff like that. So there's a lot to this empire, and I think it'll be a really fun power to try and control. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.